Toronto, Ontario. It happened in a flash. 2 swings, 2 pitches, 2 home runs. The Blue Jays have done the unthinkable back-to-back home runs to start a do-or-die postseason game. The Rogers Center is electric. This is only the second time in MLB postseason history this has happened. The crowd is on its feet, a deafening roar echoing through the dome. The Blue Jays, facing elimination, needed a miracle, and got one in the first 2 minutes. George Springer and Bo Bichette have etched their names into the history books. They faced one of the league's most dominant pitchers, but tonight, the pressure found a new victim. The Blue Jays lineup came out swinging, sending a message: we will not go quietly. Fans are hugging strangers, jumping up and down, their blue and white jerseys a blur. The visiting team stands stunned, their ace pitcher is already in a 2-run hole. This isn't just a hot start, it's a statement. The Blue Jays are here to fight, and they've landed a devastating opening blow. This game was supposed to be a pitcher's duel, a tense, low-scoring affair, but baseball has a way of defying expectations. In the blink of an eye, the script was torn up. Springer's mad dash and Bichette's blast turned this game on its head. This is the magic of the postseason, where legends are born and unforgettable moments are created. Tonight, Toronto is witnessing something truly special. Hours before the first pitch, the city was buzzing. Toronto was a sea of blue, fans in jerseys, gathering in bars, voices filled with nervous excitement. This wasn't just another game, the Blue Jays' season was on the line. Every fan felt the weight of this moment. Inside the Rogers Center, the atmosphere was even more intense. Nearly 50,000 fans packed the dome, faces painted, flags waving. The noise was a low hum of anticipation, growing louder by the minute. They had celebrated the highs and endured the lows all season. Now, it all came down to this: one game to decide their fate. The pre-game ceremonies added to the drama. Lights dimmed, music swelled, a season montage played. As the players were introduced, the roar was deafening. The fans let their team know they were behind them, ready to cheer no matter what. This is what makes postseason baseball in Toronto so special. The entire city gets behind the team. It becomes more than just a sport. Strangers become friends, united by a common passion. The Blue Jays are a symbol of the city's pride and resilience. As the players took their positions, the crowd rose to its feet. They were ready for battle, ready to be the 10th man. The air was thick with tension, a feeling that something incredible was about to happen. This is Toronto in October. This is hope, fear, and pride, all at once. And tonight, it's all on the line. The visiting pitcher walked to the mound, an ace, calm and in control. His fastball was electric, his breaking balls devastating. All season he had dominated hitters. Tonight, he was here to shut the Blue Jays down. In the Blue Jays dugout, nervous energy buzzed. The players knew what was at stake and who they were facing. They had studied, prepared, and believed in each other. This was their house, and they would not be intimidated. As the umpire yelled, "Play ball!" a hush fell over the crowd. Every fan was on the edge of their seat. The first pitch of the game felt like the world had stopped. George Springer stepped into the box, the spark plug, ready to set the tone. He took a deep breath, eyes locked on the pitcher. The pitcher went into his windup. The crowd held its collective breath. The ball left his hand, a white blur rocketing toward the plate, a statement pitch right down the middle. The pitcher was challenging Springer from the very first moment. 2 elite athletes locked in a mental and physical battle. The entire season seemed to hang in the balance of this single pitch. The calm was about to be shattered. The city waited. Baseball's drama was about to unfold. George Springer swung at the very first pitch. The bat met the ball with a thunderous crack. The ball screamed to right center, the deepest part of the park. Outfielders gave chase, but it was hit too hard, too perfectly. The ball caromed off the wall, rolling along the warning track. Springer never broke stride, rounding first, then second. The third base coach waved him on as the crowd's roar grew. The relay throw came in, but Springer was already halfway to third. He hit the bag and turned for home, not hesitating. The stadium was in a frenzy, an inside-the-park home run on the first pitch of a postseason game. Pure speed, hustle, and a little luck. Springer slid into home, dust flying, the umpire signaling safe. The Rogers Center exploded in joy. Teammates mobbed him at the plate. 1-0 Blue Jays, in the most dramatic way imaginable. A moment of pure adrenaline. The game was barely a minute old and already unforgettable. The spark had ignited a wildfire of excitement. Toronto was alive. The celebration for Springer's home run had barely subsided. The crowd was still on its feet, buzzing with disbelief. The opposing pitcher tried to compose himself, but the momentum was against him. Bo Bichette stepped into the batter's box, feeding off the energy. He saw the look of shock on the pitcher's face. Bichette came to the plate looking to do damage. He knew the pitcher was rattled. This was his chance. The pitcher delivered another fastball, trying to re-establish dominance. But it was a mistake, catching too much of the plate. Bichette was ready. He uncoiled his swing, connecting with a booming sound. The ball soared high into the Toronto night, a majestic, towering shot. The left fielder didn't move. He just watched it go. The ball landed deep in the second deck. The crowd erupted again, a roar shaking the building. Back-to-back home runs on the first two pitches. Unbelievable. Historic. Bichette trotted around the bases, a smile on his face. The Blue Jays led 2-0. The game had just begun, but history had already been made. Toronto was in bedlam. The impossible had happened. What happened in Toronto tonight was more than just a great start. Starting a postseason game with back-to-back home runs is almost mythical. In over a century of postseason baseball, it had only happened once before. 2002, Angels versus Yankees. For 23 years, that moment stood alone. Many great teams have tried. None had matched it. Tonight, George Springer and Bo Bichette joined that exclusive club. Their names will now be mentioned alongside legends. Springer's was a feat of speed and hustle. Bichette's, pure power. Together they created a 1-2 punch that sent shockwaves through baseball. This isn't just a Toronto story, it's a baseball story. The rarity of this event cannot be overstated. To do what Springer and Bichette did is to defy the odds in spectacular fashion. It's a moment that will be replayed and talked about for decades. Toronto witnessed history. The visiting pitcher came in with a plan, aggressive first-pitch fastballs. Against most teams it works, but the Blue Jays were ready. Their hitting coach had done his homework. The players knew the tendencies. They decided to be aggressive. If he throws a fastball, swing. It was a calculated risk, but the perfect counter strategy. The pitcher executed his plan. The hitters executed theirs. Springer drove a fastball to the opposite field gap. Bichette, seeing the pitcher rattled, sat on another fastball and crushed it. Preparation met opportunity. The pressure of the moment was immense. The crowd's roar, the stakes, everything played a factor. After Springer's home run, the pitcher was rattled. Adrenaline pumping, he made another mistake. The hitters fed off the energy, seizing the momentum. In 2 pitches, the Blue Jays flipped the script. It was a classic case of one team rising while the other faltered. The postseason is unforgiving, and Toronto took full advantage. The Rogers Center was a cauldron of noise and emotion. The fans, a unified sea of blue and white, came ready to make a difference. They were not just spectators, they were part of the drama. Their cheers were a wave of energy the players could ride. When Springer stepped to the plate, the roar was deafening. After his dash around the bases, the stadium reached pandemonium. The sound was physical. You could feel it in your chest. For the visiting pitcher, that wall of sound was intimidating, magnifying the pressure. Every mistake was met with a deafening roar. When Bichette hit the second home run, the noise was a knockout blow. This is the magic of home field advantage in the postseason. The players and crowd fed off each other, creating a cycle of momentum and belief. Tonight, Toronto fans were more than the 10th man. They were a force of nature. They helped propel their team into the history books. Years from now, fans will ask, where were you when Springer and Bichette went back-to-back? This is a moment that transcends the box score. It will be replayed for decades, a story passed down through generations. These 2 swings did more than give the team a lead. They created a memory for a generation. This moment matters because it represents hope. Facing elimination, the Blue Jays attacked, showing courage and conviction. For fans, it was a symbol of resilience, a reminder that incredible things can happen. The psychological impact was immediate confidence for the Jays, shock for the visitors. The entire complexion of the game changed in 2 pitches. In the tapestry of baseball history, this night will have its own special thread. It's a story of a city's passion, a team's heart, and 2 players who rose to the occasion. Baseball at its best is pure theater, a game of moments. Tonight, Toronto got a moment that will never be forgotten. This is more than just a game, it's a shared dream, realized in spectacular fashion.